Very good morning. Welcome to Britain's Newsroom. It's been a long week, hasn't it? Is it only Thursday?
It is only Thursday.
It's been a very busy week as well. Well, thank you for all joining us this week. Now, are we going to see another U-turn from Sir Keir Starmer on this welfare reform bill? And how embarrassing is this going to be?
Well, it's pretty huge because we're now looking at about 125 Labour MPs have signed up to this motion, which actually calls for the entire thing to be paused. It's not saying cut welfare by a bit less money, just wants the whole thing rethought. It comes next week, the vote on Tuesday, just a couple of days before Labour should be celebrating its first anniversary in power. You couldn't time it worse if you tried.
No, you couldn't.
And yet we had the Prime Minister last week at the NATO summit talking about international issues when this huge, huge domestic juggernaut has been heading for number 10.
Yeah.
And it's a really big issue. It would be one of the biggest revolts ever for a British government.
Well, let's talk to Labour MP for Hartlepool. Jonathan will be looking at those messages in just a moment. We've got to take
He's
a
a
quick
newish
break.
MP and he's going to vote against his own government.
He's very
Unless
good.
they change it.
I like him.
Now, that bombshell new poll that Bev...
Welcome back to Britain's Newsroom with Andrew and Bev at 9:51. You were all very engaged with that conversation we just had there with Labour MP Jonathan Brash. And Nanny...
He didn't duck it, did he?
He didn't duck it. And I have to say, that takes some backbone to come on national TV, particularly this channel, because Labour aren't terribly keen on us. We don't know why. You're always welcome. And as you saw, we gave Jonathan Brash a lovely hearing there.
We did.
But to come on TV and to say, I don't agree with this bill, this massively important bill, shows absolute kahunas. So well done, Jonathan Brash.
And that vote next week will kill the bill.
Yeah.
And then there will have to be a vote of confidence in the government. And who would have expected a confidence vote in a government with a majority of 170 within a year?
Well, Nanny says, morning, Andrew and Bev. Yes, he's only listening, this is Starmer, after each event. He's not for the people. He's a globalist human rights lawyer, and that is what he will always be. Pippa, morning, Pippa. Again, Starmer, you want more money to stop illegals sponging off the states, stop the boats, smash the gangs. This is what we voted you in for. Derry says Starmer's vanity is his Achilles heel. And Nigel, again, stop the boats, solve 90% of our current and future problems. Labour must go. Bobby, is it true that welfare cuts are due to Reeves creating her own £7 billion black hole caused by her last budget? No, it's a bit more complicated than that. I don't think we can lay the blame of this at the door of Rachel Reeves, but...
Well, she's the Chancellor.
Yeah. Well...
Everything goes through number 11 as well.
Like Jonathan Brash, they inherited an absolute...
They did. But... They see the books before they go in. The idea that it came as a complete surprise is for the birds. But I'm looking at the papers today. Big pictures of Keir Starmer sitting next to Trump at the NATO summit yesterday. Get back, man.
Yeah, no.
Come and sort the country out. His 26th trip overseas, and you know he's going away again next week. Can't remember where he's going, but he's off on his travels again next week on another summit. Unbelievable.
Personally, I don't mind if he's hanging out with Donald Trump, if he's listening to him and learning from him and maybe taking some inspiration from him, then I'm OK with that, but we can't be sure that's what's happening. Nanny statism. Next week, there's going to be a new health plan. Wes Streeting, the health minister, who's going to be talking all about how he's going to save the country, and it's going to be about prevention rather than cure, and I'm very much on board with that.
All good with that.
But let's make sure you create more sports facilities, better food in schools, allow people to exercise where and, you know, let's get the country healthy again, absolutely. I'm not sure banning booze ads is the solution, Andrew Pearce.
It's pathetic. It's gesture politics, isn't it? You want people to get healthy.
Yeah, but
that's the point.
I don't drink because I see an advert for something.
I like a vodka. I can't remember the last vodka advert I saw. I like a gin. I can't remember the last gin advert I saw.
Exactly. This feels very old-fashioned, doesn't it? It feels really old-fashioned. We're just going to stop adverts. Well, kids aren't watching adverts. I said to my daughter yesterday, in fact, they've just reminded me, the one who was in here doing work experience yesterday, about adverts, and she said, I don't remember the last time I saw an advert.
There we are.
Because they just flick through them on their phones and... Anyway, right.
Still ahead. It's going to be the because Lucy Powell, who is the leader of the House of Commons, has confirmed at the dispatch box today that big vote on the welfare bill will take place on Tuesday after all. We reported earlier that David Blunkett, the former Labour Home Secretary, I think he was Work and Pension Secretary at one point too, said the vote should be postponed until the autumn to give the government more time to think it through. So what's going to happen now is going to be a screeching U-turn. They're going to have to water down the reforms. And all they were cutting out of a welfare bill of nearly 300 billion was 5 billion. Frankly, peanuts. He's got no grip. U-turn on winter fuel. We think they're going to change the policy. They're going to have to water down the changes to the non-dom tax because so many millionaires are leaving the country. As Karen Malone pointed out just earlier, 30,000 have left since the election.
Yeah. And actually, that story about the number of pupils, I'm just bringing up your comments here, that story about the number of pupils leaving the private system as well.
What's it, 11,000?
11,000 pupils so far, and that will massively increase by September and into January.
Because the VAT only kicks in January.
That's a lot of the kids of these wealthy families.
Yeah.
Because it is the hard-working, successful, ambitious, aspirational families. These are the millionaires who are leaving and going to live in Dubai and Italy and wherever else have got more favourable tax regimes. Now, you can have an opinion on that, but the fact is they're not here spending their money. They're not spending them in schools, in private schools. They're not spending them in hotels and restaurants and buying houses. They're just gone. And
Peter Mandelson, when he was in Blair's cabinet, he's now our ambassador in Washington, said he was intensely relaxed about the filthy rich, about people being filthy rich. This lot, it seems, are not, because they're targeting them all the time. And the filthy rich create jobs and pay taxes.
Yeah.
You can't lose them.
Right, my computer's not working very well this morning, Andrew Pierce.
I can't help you.
I don't know what's happened to it. It's going a little bit crazy.
It's online, I don't do it.
Right.
Moving on. A major new YouGov poll has been released this morning. It's their biggest since the last general election, showing if there were an election to happen next week or tomorrow, Labour would win less than half of the seats they won last year. Reform would be, by a long way, the largest party. The most shocking part of that is that we aren't even a year into this government. It's an extraordinary fall from grace, Catherine Forster.